You're probably tired while watching this video, and if you aren't, well, I do hate you a little bit, but don't take it personally, I am just a bit tired. Sleep is one of the most easily agreed upon things to be of importance to human health. In fact, sleep is so important that I don't need to pull up a study on its importance. You know that sleep is important. In fact, according to scientists that I personally trust, sleep revitalizes the brain and helps ease out toxins, or as I like to call them, bad vibes. Sleep also does other magical things that I can't quantify properly, like improve your attitude or make you easier to work with. Now, with these statements of facts and logic, we can start to talk about how society hates people who need sleep. If we look at the typical set of work hours, which we have unions to thank for us, we can see that our overlords prefer to give us 8 hours of work with a single break somewhere in the middle. Now, we can pretend that this break doesn't count as work, but let's be honest, you still are working under the time management of your bosses, so we'll keep it at 8 hours for our calculations. Now, with 24 hours in a day, we can do some complex math here and find that this leaves 16 hours in the day for us to be free and, in theory, sleep. Now, most experts agree that around 8 to 9 hours of sleep is necessary to feel well rested, which leaves 5 hours of free existence before the next day must begin. But here's where things get interesting. Unlike every other animal on Earth, human beings will prevent themselves from sleeping. Dogs do not chase their tail after being forced to work a full shift at the police department, but human beings will stay up on their proprietary streaming services well past the point of them being able to get their glorious 8 hours of sleep. Picture this scene and silently tell me if it appears familiar. You walk into work, eyes baggy, mouth agape with yawns, and your eyes are still barely holding open. You see your boss, fully awake thanks to their Tempur-Pedic mattress and family that loves the wage that he steals from your coworkers. Good morning, they say with cheerful glee, as someone who controls 90% of your ability to survive tends to have. How are you? Now, here lies a real quandary. Do you inform your boss that you did not sleep and you cannot perform your job? Do you ask for a small period of time to take a nap? No, you silly wage slave. Your lack of sleep is not something the boss wants to hear about. In fact, repeatedly receiving poor sleep will eventually result in you getting fired. It is now that we should begin to look at the various causes of what experts are calling insomnia. Apparently everything and anything can cause insomnia, and according to Google, this condition can't be cured. From generalized pain, prior sleep habits, current worries, and the fact that the US dollar has no real value outside of debts to other countries, insomnia has many origin points. Now, I am writing this at 4 a.m. with about 5 hours of sleep, so if you came into this video titled, How to Fix Insomnia, with the idea that I know the answer to your sleep problems, you're actually 100% correct, because that is why I called this video that. Now, as with most things, removing the origin of the problem will likely ease things off. Now, I've read a lot of articles by the New York Times, partially thanks to my multiple sets of proxies and partially thanks to my refusal to pay for any neoliberal rags. But in my time reading their hundreds of articles on the subject of insomnia, I've found that generally their solution is the same. The most common solution that I've seen from the New York Times is simply, stop worrying about your lack of sleep. Which I find amazing because it implies that the problem is of our own creation. You can almost taste the writing path that a trust fund child took to compose the article. Now, a lot of these articles read the same way as well, going into expensive methods that they originally tried to reclaim their sleep, followed almost always by the simple choice of stop worrying. There are a lot of things that really bother me with this solution, but as a poor person, it's especially concerning to wonder how I will simply stop worrying. Maybe I don't get enough sleep and I'll get upset with a customer or a coworker and get fired. Maybe I won't be able to get enough sleep and I can't figure out how to pay my bills. Maybe the problems I'm facing are more tied to systemic issues than internalized worries about relationships. Either way, I'm left wondering about why the upper class is able to sleep so soundly, while the working class struggles to maintain a healthy circadian rhythm. What I think is more interesting than simply examining the economic axis of people who can and cannot sleep is the intersection of race and that economic status. The fact is, rich white people sleep better than anyone. Now, we can throw a few guesses as to why, but as a person that is neither rich nor white, I think my best guess comes down to a sense of safety. When I attempt to fall asleep in my bed, melanin bringing my skin to a shade of bronze, and capitalism defining my bank account to have less than $10 in it, my brain is still attempting to solve these problems. Will I end up dead in the streets like many other trans women of color? Will I be able to afford my next meal? Will I be told by the McDonald's employee that my card was rejected? These are simply things that a rich white person does not have to think about. But as it stands, I can't say that I've found a solution to my insomnia besides getting rid of my bosses and removing capitalism. If you enjoyed this video and would like to help me survive, or eat, or sleep, then consider donating to my Patreon, or donating to my Ko-fi. Donations help keep me fed, allow these videos to be created, and if you donate to my Patreon, then you get to have your name in the credits of my videos. If you enjoyed, then I hope you like and subscribe, and until next time.